Welcome to Moments with Marianne. This is your host, Marianne Pastana. We're here today with special guest, W.T. Hamilton, who's here to share with us his new book, Xirtam Actuality. So are you ready to challenge the traditional perceptions of reality? Well, today's guest is going to do just that. So, W.T. Hamilton is a dynamic and multi-award-winning author known for his groundbreaking one-chapter book series, which helps driven entrepreneurs tackle business challenges one chapter at a time. His highly acclaimed works, including The Promise and The Harsh Truths, have earned him numerous accolades and a dedicated following. So let's welcome to the show, W.T. Hamilton.
Hey, thank you for having me, Marianne. I'm excited to be here.
My goodness, what an honor it is to have you here and to talk about this. So, Xirtam Actuality, what even inspired you to write that?
Well, it's kind of a crazy story. Part of it was I was doing I was really looking at how I'd been able to achieve many different things and things that I shouldn't be able to achieve on paper. And so I was looking at what's behind that, and also it was inspired by I was hearing a lot of people talking about we're in this like matrix, we're in this like construct, man-made construct, or this kind of construct, and they wanted to get out. And I'm thinking, but if we're able to, use our thoughts to create things and be able to achieve things that we shouldn't be able to do, why would you want to escape from that? I mean, that's an awesome place to be. That really was what kind of inspired the book. Those two things kind of coming together really put this weird type of book together.
So, let's talk about the title a little bit. Xirtam Actuality. What does that even mean?
So part of the book is talking about there's a lot of hidden insight. It's in plain sight. There's a lot of like hidden knowledge as you go through the book. You start to find all these nuggets. So what I wanted to do was put like a word puzzle into the title. So Exertam doesn't really is not really a word. Exertam, it's actually a word puzzle. And then to make it even more intriguing, I use the subtitle in Old Latin. And it was really I'm just kind of playing with the book cover and trying to make it a little bit more intriguing, so that when you read the book and you get to the end of the book, I reveal what Exertam actually is, but you kind of piece it together as you're reading as well.
It's a very thought-provoking book that will have a
Mhm.
lot of people thinking. And
Mhm.
so, how do you challenge traditional perceptions? How is this book doing that?
So it's really looking at reality itself, and challenging the perception of reality and what the rules are. So part of the main thing of the book is really looking at the 3D rules. So it's because we live in, I call it a dual reality. We live in like a 3D reality, and then we also live in this inner reality where your imagination can create things. And it's looking at how you can take the rules in the 3D world and kind of bend them and kind of rewrite them to create the things that you want to do, like becoming an author. I was never be able to I was never supposed to be able to achieve that, but I decided that I was going to achieve that anyways, and so I basically rewrote the rules by allowing myself to do things that on paper I shouldn't be able to do to achieve this goal. And so as I was looking back at how I was able to do this type of stuff, I seen a pattern. I seen there's layers to reality, and there's ways that we, by using intentional thought and using some inspired action, we can really create a life that we don't have the qualifications to do on paper, but we find the ways to be able to achieve them anyways.
I like how in your book you talk about, being for us to be able to journey to a place where we could quiet our mind and unearth inspiration, motivation, unity, and serenity. And I think for a lot of people, that sounds like just such a beautiful place to be in. So
Mhm.
how can we get into that mindset?
So part of it, of what I talk about in the book, is really you have to get a quality of environment. So you have to get your environment to where you have the time to be able to relax and be able to think and contemplate. And one of the key things is you have to first achieve some security, stable life, is stable money. So those are things that you have to kind of get out of the way first. And once you've been able to do that and get a little bit of a foundation, then you can start to engage your imagination, because it's hard to imagine and to see yourself doing all these wonderful things if you're struggling just to survive in life. So the first step really is to get some stability, get a foundation so that you can start to create the wonderful things that you want to create, imagine them, visualize them, and then start taking inspired action to to achieve those things.
Well, it seems that you've definitely done that. I mean, how many books have you written so far?
I think there's over 20 books. I wrote a few books with my mom. So I started out writing with my mom as co-authors, really looking at the law of attraction. And I was looking at it as how to use it in practical steps. And my mom was talking about the spiritual side. And then from there, I started writing books to help entrepreneurs, because a lot of people were asking, like, well, how do you use this in business? Because they know I do sales and I do different entrepreneur ventures. So I came up with the mindset for success, writing books about that. And then this thing is not, this is like out of my comfort zone. This is not the stuff I normally talk about, which is really deep into manifestation and spiritual connection. So this really took me on a different path, and it wasn't something I planned to write. It just kind of came to me at the end of last summer, and I just felt like I was being pulled toward writing this book. I had to get this book on paper and out to the public.
Was that really developed that sense of spirituality when you're doing that work with your mom?
Yeah, so I'm very skeptical. So the spirituality part really didn't make a lot of sense to me at first. So it took me a while to really understand that there's that connection is with the action, because I was all about you want to do something, you take action, you make it happen. But then I started to realize, but there's more to it than that. There's behind the scenes things that go on, and the whole imagination, how you're using your imagination. That's a spiritual connection. Like those thoughts and those ideas come from somewhere. We don't just create them. They're out there somewhere. Because in the book I talk about, sometimes that idea will find 10 people, 20 people, 30 people around the world, but only the people that really dive deep into it and develop it are the ones that actually bring it to life, bring it to fruition. So you're given these ideas, and then you're supposed to do something with them. And who gives you those ideas? Not exactly sure, but they come from somewhere.
In your book, you talk about an inner verse. Can you share what that is with us?
Yeah, so that's one of the things that always resonated with me was the saying that everything comes from within. And so the universe is, when you close your eyes and you're reading, or you close your eyes and you're thinking, and you hear that voice, that's an inner voice. Like that voice, it comes from somewhere else. It's your voice, but it's not your voice. When you're seeing things, you're seeing with different eyes. So what are those eyes? They're not your 3D eyes. They're an inner eyes. And basically, the universe is where it's like a playground where you can travel backward, forward in time. You can take an idea and you can really work that idea out and look at all the pros and cons, and you can travel through the next 10 years with that idea in your mind, and really look at, okay, how can I make this work out? What are some of the hurdles that I'm going to run into? And really process that whole thing in your mind. So the universe is kind of like that spiritual connection where you can also pose questions and then wait for answers, and the answers will come back to you, maybe that later on that day, maybe the next day, but the answers always find you once you pose the question. The only thing sometimes that we forget, we pose the question, and when the answer comes, we don't realize it's the answer is for us for a question that we had.
In your book, you talk about, and I think this is what we're kind of touching on, is clarity. And I love how
Mhm.
you say seeing beyond seeing, knowing beyond knowing. I mean,
Yeah,
how empowering is that?
yeah, and once you really understand that, that's kind of like the faith. When you want to have faith in what you're doing, that's really what it is. It's that feeling that you just know it's going to work out. you know you're going to find the answers. You know that you're on the right path. That's clarity. That's knowing without seeing. Like, you don't have to see it because you already know that is working out. And it's part of it is being able to see the signs, because we get like signs, we get affirmations, um, confirmations that we're on the right path, and they're not somebody telling you, but you can see these different things and you can feel them. And once you align your your feelings and your sight with, the things that are telling you you're going the right way, then there's nothing that really can stop you. You're going to succeed at what you're trying to do, no matter how long it takes, because you have that clarity.
Well, on that note, we're going to pause here for a quick break. We've been speaking with W.T. Hamilton in regards to his new groundbreaking book, Xirtam Actuality. You've been listening to Moments with Marianne. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
Have you dreamt of writing your own book but felt lost on where to start? Introducing DIYbook.us, your personal guide to bringing stories to life. Whether it's your life story, business insights, or unique experiences, DIYbook.us makes it easy and affordable. With our step-by-step online program, you'll receive a weekly email prompt tailored to you. Don't let your story go untold. Visit www.diybook.us and start your writing journey today with our free 7-day trial. DIYbook.us, where your story comes to life.
It's one thing to become attached to your perfect home, but what do you do when that home becomes attached to you? A family in dire need of a fresh start, a mysterious house tied to the past. Buried deep within the foundation of the old Far Hill Manor lies a centuries-old secret. Dark forces or something stronger just waiting to be discovered. Caretaker, a supernatural thriller by breakout authors R.J. Halpert.
Are you a coffee lover who wants to make a difference? Look no further than Fire Department Coffee, a veteran-owned business that gives back to support first responders in need. Each batch of coffee is freshly roasted right here in the USA by a dedicated team of first responders and coffee experts. So when you enjoy a cup of Fire Department coffee, you're not only drinking high-quality coffee, you're supporting members of your community. Start your day with a coffee that gives back. Visit firedepartmentcoffee.com. That's fire, D-E-P-T, coffee.com.
There comes a moment when you realize you're somewhere special. When you discover that each beautiful creature that you see has been rescued from a life of absolute horror and brought to this incredibly free place. Here's where their lives were forever changed and where yours will as well. Discover over 500 tigers, bears, and lions at the brand new visitor center at the Wild Animal Sanctuary just outside Denver. For more information, visit wildanimalsanctuary.org. Discover true freedom at the Wild Animal Sanctuary.
Internationally recognized and award-winning author Judy Goodman works and teaches outside the box of limited thinking. Working with people from every walk of life, her goal is to empower you to be the best you can be, no matter what the challenge is. Born with the gift of seeing beyond our normal vision, she has an extraordinary gift of working with every challenge. Teaching beyond conventional wisdom, her work is described as life-changing. Visit judygoodman.com. That's judygoodman.com.
I'd like to thank Jason Eastwood at Guitarfulness for sharing his inspiring music and talent with us. His music is known worldwide for cultivating atmospheres of harmony, inner peace, and clarity. Visit Jason's website at guitarfulness.com. Join his newsletter, be part of his community, and download his music. Welcome back to Moments with Marianne. We're here today with special guest W.T. Hamilton in regards to his new book, Xirtam Actuality. I know you cover so much in this book. Your book is so compelling. What are some of the key techniques that you share for harnessing one's inner power?
So there's a few key things. One of them is I talk about there's layers to imagination. So there's more than one stage of imagination, and once you develop the first stage, there's a second stage that kind of opens up, But you have to really master the first stage, and then you get to the second stage. The same thing I talk about with knowledge, with learning. So learning, there's a lot of information that's accessible to you, but you can't access it yet because you have to master the things that you're learning first. And as you do that, you make those synaptic connections, and all of a sudden, it's like you have those light bulb moments. And so I talk about this is how you get to those light bulb moments, and these are the steps that you need to take. And one of the key things that I talk about in the book, which is what I feel like the book is really about, is making decisions and having experiences. And if you get into the habit of making good decisions, you're gonna have good experiences. So it's really manifesting and creating what you want is all about you're creating these experiences, these great memories, these great moments in your life. And book is about how to actually do that. So that's really the key focus of the book.
Where do you think most people get stuck?
Well, I feel like we're in a society now where everything is instant. I mean, you can get your coffee instantly. You can get anything you order from online instantly. So I think people get stuck because they want things to be instantly, and then they want things to be easy. They don't want to have the struggle and kind of put in the work to create, because manifesting sounds really awesome. It's a great word to say, oh, I manifested that, but it's not that easy to do. And you have to learn that there's a struggle to it because there's a learning curve. And when you don't know how to do something and you have to learn how to do it, it doesn't just fall into place. So I think people get in this habit of everything should be easy, it should be instant, and they want everything to be perfect. And those three things, I think, hold people back from really taking the risk, getting out of their comfort zone, and then just trying to do things that they could do if they give themselves permission to try and give themselves permission to struggle, maybe to fail, and to learn from their mistakes and build upon what they've experienced.
I like how in your book you talk about achieving a genuine state of gratitude can be challenging when we're in states of urgency or fear. And isn't that the truth? So,
Mhm.
how do people move to really states of gratitude when they're experiencing just that?
So it's letting go of everything has to happen right now, because things happen eventually. But it's like, so we live in these reality bubbles. So we live in everybody has their own reality, and it has to synchronize with a shared reality. So in the book, I talk about the linear time, how linear time works, and how just because you have an idea doesn't mean you have all the pieces to be able to bring that idea to life. You need to work with other people, and they have their own reality that they're dealing with. And at some point, both these realities converge into a shared reality, and then you're able to work together. So sometimes you're doing things ahead of its time, and that's why when you start to slow down and really look at inspired action, like, am I trying to do this and forcing this, or is this inspired action? Did this idea prompt me to take the next step? And once you understand the rhythm of inspired action and the rhythm of pausing and letting things, let the process develop, I call it letting the manifestation unfold, and just enjoying the unfolding of it, and noticing that, hey, this thing is working out, and I know there's things behind the scenes, and maybe I can't see what's going on right now, but in a few days, this other piece is going to fall into place. And when you start to feel good about the process that you're going on, just knowing that you're moving forward, even if you're standing still, when you realize that that's the clarity part, then the urgency kind of disappears. And it's hard to do at first, but once you really start to see it and experience it, and it's all about experiencing these things. Once you experience letting go of urgency and watching your manifestation unfold, you will start to realize that you have enough time to achieve the big things that you want to by achieving the small little things along the journey.
It seems that you have just this immense knowledge that most people take years and years and years of study just to obtain like a little bit of it. Do you feel like this is something that you are just gifted with, or is it something that you have also worked to understand?
I think it's a little bit of both. There's times in my life working in different jobs where I guess I would give somebody advice. I would see that person maybe a year or two later, and they would tell me the advice that I gave them, and I'd be like shocked, like, "Wow, that's really good advice. I should write that down," because I don't remember ever giving them that advice. So some of it I think is some kind of a natural thing, but understanding focused thought, really understanding how to help somebody actually take what I know and use it to be able to achieve their goals and dreams. That part I had to work on to be able to explain it, because a lot of the stuff that I see, I think everybody sees it. I don't think it's unique. And then when I realized that, oh no, not everybody can see the things how I see it. It's really, I've always struggled at figuring out, okay, what part is common knowledge and what part is kind of unique where people that aren't seeing it, and that's why they're not understanding when I'm saying, "Oh, you just do this." So it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of natural talent and a little bit of learning how to interpret things.
Well, you're definitely wise beyond your years with this information, I'll tell you that, because I think I think you really have just this is just a natural gift for you in many ways because a lot of what you were talking about today, most people don't really understand. They don't understand how these two things, how all this work correlates with one another, how our
Mhm.
energy and our passion and our manifesting and in many ways faith bring together what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know. Like for me, part of this all of this manifesting and the spirituality was a bit strange for me, and I don't really like strange. I'm a logical person. So to be able to understand this and kind of bring some logic to it was kind of that's the way I've been trying to teach it. And I know that once you can add a little bit of the logic, so you take it from the abstract and kind of ground it. Once you understand that you can use this as a grounded tool of thinking and of focusing both your mind and your energy and your intentions, I think it starts to make more sense, but it's being able to guide people to that. And that's what I really tried to do with the book, is guide people to be able to understand how to actually become something that you're not right now, how to reinvent yourself, how to be something that you want to be, and the process to get there, and being good with how long it takes, because it doesn't happen instantly.
I would say it doesn't. I mean, even understanding the point we were just talking about, eliminating urgency, I think that actually develops into a lot of stress and anxiety for people. So being able to eliminate the urgency from our lives, I mean, what a big deal that is.
Yeah, and I know that's a big struggle. And in the book I talk about, with urgency, it's almost like you don't believe that you can do it, so you're rushing because you want to make it happen quickly, because if you think if you don't, it's never going to happen for you. And so I that's why I talk about like taking the time and really seeing the little wins and understanding how these little wins will start to manifest. So I liken it to throwing a pebble into a still lake, and that pebble makes ripples on the outside, on the surface of the lake, but under the bed, when that rock hits the bed, there's all these different things that are happening that you can't see. And that's how I think how manifestation works. Like there's things that you can see, but there's a lot of stuff that's happening that you won't see, but it's happening for you, and it's for your greater good. Because I think that this 3D reality that we're in is designed just for us to be able to achieve our goals and dreams. It's everything is there for us to be able to use our imagination to create what we want. We're the only species on the planet that can create cars and create skyscrapers and fly to the moon. So we have this ability that's unique to the Homo sapien, and it's a gift that we're supposed to use.
So, how can readers and our listeners use the information in this book to answer some of life's fundamental questions?
So it's acts like a guide. So some of the reviews that they were saying, like this is like a guide to understanding reality and understanding how to spend time and to be able to create the things that you want. So it's really a step-by-step guide. And I take them through. So basically, the first section of the book is called Awakening. That's really just understanding that you're in this dual reality, this 3D reality in the innerverse, and how to kind of work that. And then the second section is Clarity, where you start to really understand, okay, now this is what I can do with it. Here's are the steps of the different things that you're able to do, the pros and the cons and things to watch out for. And then Actuality is the part where I go deeper into, okay, here's what our reality is, and here's the different layers and the things that maybe you never thought about before that are in play.
So, what would you like readers and listeners to take away from your book? I know we've covered so much.
Mm-hmm. Well, I really think at the heart of the book, it's about learning how to use your creative mind in a 3D reality to create what you want, and understanding that what you're trying to create is experiences. So your decisions that you make create the experiences that are your life. So good decisions create good experiences, bad decisions create bad experiences. So our jobs really is to practice making good decisions, practice making great decisions so we can have great experiences. And that's really what you take away from that book.
Well, WT, where can our listeners connect with you and learn more about your books and all the other work that you do and be part of your community?
So I have a website, mindsetforsuccesstraining.com, where there's lots of freebies and lots of training videos that really look at mindset and how to use mindset for success. And then also my Instagram, w.t.hamilton.
Well, WT, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show with us here today.
That was my pleasure. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Well, thank you, WT. It has been such an honor to spend this time with you and to talk about your new book, Xirtam Actuality. Make sure to connect with WT Hamilton at his website, mindsetforsuccesstraining.com. Be part of his community and learn more about his work. Well, we're at the end of our time today. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. You've been listening to Moments with Marianne, where we make every moment count.
In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Marianne is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Her guests are leaders in their fields, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, and business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary, a recognized leader in her own work, and while teaching others to develop, refocus, and grow, Marianne will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. You never know just which moment will change your life forever. Make sure to tune in and visit momentswithmarianne.com for more information.